Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Hope all of you are doing well. In today's video, we are talking about SME stocks. I am pretty sure that most of you might have heard about SME stocks and many of you might have not. So let's discuss that in detail in today's video. In the beginning, what I want to tell you is that SME stocks can make you rich, but at the same time, it can trap your money. So it's not about luck, it's about understanding what you are doing. So that's the thing what we are going to talk in today's video, where we'll explain it in three parts. One, I will discuss what are SME stocks. Two, I will discuss why you should not invest in SME stocks. And three, why you should invest in SME stocks. So let's begin our discussion. First, what are SME stocks, right? You might have heard people talking about companies that are small in size. So that's exactly the definition. Companies with revenue less than 250 crores, basically small and medium enterprises SME. Those are the companies that we classify as SME stocks. Basically, very small company, very small market cap, small business, small revenue. Such companies are called SME stocks, and it's not just about the definition, right? The revenue or anything. So they are not directly listed in the main board, main stock market, or main exchange. Those stocks are listed in, say, in BSE they have BSE SME platform, and for NSE they have NSE Emerge platform. So SME stocks are listed in those platforms, not the main platform, right? So we'll talk about that in detail maybe later. I'm just giving you an understanding that when the stocks are in that category, SME category, the listing will happen in a different platform. And also, one more aspect about SME stocks is that the regulations are not so strict, in the sense that they don't have to publish the quarterly results. They just have to submit half yearly results. And one more thing is, what about SME stock is that you cannot purchase SME stocks in 1 or 5 quantity. There is a lot size for SME stocks, right? You have to purchase in bulk. The lot size would be around 1000 quantity or 800 quantity, in that range. Minimum of 70,000 to 1 lakh, 1,50,000, in that range. Hope you understood the basic things about SME stocks, right? Before talking about the merits or advantages of investing into SME stocks, I must cover the disadvantages, or why you should not touch SME stocks, right? That is the first point that I am going to discuss, because uh, I have to uh, be very unbiased. It's not a video of promoting SME stocks, because there are a lot of risks, right? So I thought I will cover the disadvantages or the risks that are incorporated with SME stocks. So I have noted down few points. The first and foremost risk is the liquidity risk, right? Because since these are small companies, number of buyers and sellers are very less. So maybe you will be able to purchase the stocks, but when you need money and if you are trying to sell the stock, there won't be enough sellers. You may stuck in that stock, right? That is a big issue, right? I mean, and also you may not be able to sell when you want. Uh, when the price drop happens, there will be circuit also. The stock will run through circuit, so it is dangerous, right? So liquidity risk is the most important risk associated with SME stock, right? And the second point, which is a continuation of the first point, is the price manipulation. Right? Since these are small companies, even if you put a significant amount, say 100 crore market cap company, if you are investing 1 crore or so, the price of the stock will move up a lot, right? So it's easy for big players to manipulate the stocks both up and down, right? So in that case, it is risky to invest into SME stocks because, yeah, low volume, it's very easy to manipulate. And the third point is the governance issue, right? Of course, SEBI and other regulators or the market officials track the company's background and all, but even then, it's very hard to understand the business model or what's happening inside the business because these are very small companies. Maybe the office will be in a mall of a small town village in India. That could be possible. The manufacturing unit will be in some rural village. So informations are not readily available unless they publish exclusively. So it's very hard to understand what's happening inside the company. You don't know, right? Whether the promoters are authentic or they have a very good track record. Yeah, lot of issues related to the governance. Fourth point, this is very important point, is lack of institutional participation. Who are all institutions? They are the mutual funds, their PMS, and other big players who invest into the market. But because of the volume constraint and small market cap, they won't touch SME stocks, right? Because of that, the price discovery won't happen. Retailers and operators move the stock price of the SME stock, right? There won't be any institutions participating in the buying and selling of SME stocks. That's one of the important reason, the primary reason, right? The volume of these stocks are very less because the institution participation is not there. Fifth point is regarding the volatility aspect. So I told you it's very easy to manipulate these stocks, right? And not because of that, but the fact of the matter is that these stocks are extremely volatile. So the stock can go down 10% and come back and go up 20%. So basically a 30% of price movement can happen within a day. I'm talking about a single day, right? So there will be extreme volatility. 5%, 10% movements are quite common in these stocks. So if you are someone who hates volatility, then this is not a good sign, right? Or this is not a good thing to see in the terminal of your portfolio, that the stock prices are going up and down drastically, right? So I hope you understood the 5 points where the risk associated with investing into SME stocks, right? So these are all very important points. I don't know how many of you are aware of these points. These are all not something that you should take lightly because your money can get stuck permanently, literally permanently in these stocks. Say you invested into a stock of 100 rupees and the stock come down to 70 and you think that at some point of time it will go back and above 100. There are chances that it will come down to 50, 40, 30. So there are several instances where such manipulations and issues associated with SME stocks where people lost a lot of money, right? So make sure that you know what you are doing before investing into SME stocks. So these are the disadvantages, right? Now let's talk about the advantages, or why someone should invest into SME stocks. The first point is quite simple: huge wealth creation possibility. All the large caps were once a small cap and micro cap. They started their journey small, and eventually they had grown their business and became, you know, 1,000 crore revenue business, 10,000 crore revenue business. If you can find companies, gems in the small category, and if those companies go successful, your wealth explodes if you are in that success journey, right? So yeah, that's the number one point. You can create massive wealth if you are in the right direction, right? If you had invested into the right set of stocks. The second point is the early entry advantage, right? Because like I said in the previous points, institutions were not invested into SME stocks. So if you can enter or buy stocks before their entry, you will get that early mover advantage. If the revenue is increasing, and if they are delivering good business, eventually the SME tag will go away, and it will move to the main board. So I have not talked about it at the beginning. So like I said, once they list into the SME exchange, after 2 to 3 years, right now it's a 3 year time frame, there are certain criteria. Once they fulfill that criteria, they can move to the main board, basically the BSC and NSE, right? So the lot size will go away, liquidity will come up, institutions will start buying. The actual price discovery happens, right, when more and more investors start buying that stock. So that's the second point when you invest early into the stock. So third point is market inefficiency, where so I have noted few points. I mean, these are all very important points, where market inefficiency directly related to the mispricing of the stock. Since market doesn't know what exactly happening in these businesses, the price discovery won't be accurate. Maybe the company will be doing great business, but that may not be directly reflecting in the stock. So if you are a very informed investor, or what you say, you are a very research oriented person, where you understand the nuances of the business and you understand how different businesses work, you have that ability to understand the behavior of the promoters, and you are able to identify the smallest of issues as and when it happens. So if you are a well informed investor, you will be able to identify stocks that are mispriced and capitalize that opportunity to build massive wealth, right? So that's the third point, where where the pricing won't be accurate in these stocks. And fourth point, these all are related points. So the fourth point is the business growth phase, right? When the company is small, they will try to expand their business, and when you are part of that company in that stage, you will get that benefit of that growing phase or the growth phase of the company. And eventually, when the business peaks and when the stock price directly reflects that growth, you will be rewarded for that, right? And the last point I have told you briefly, once they migrate from the SME exchange to the main board, more retail participation, more institution participation happens, the actual price discovery happens, and the stock will get re-rated once they list into the main board. Governance issue will not be there that much, because now that the company became popular or well known, you will the company may be publishing more and more updates about what's happening in their space. So more and more investors will be aware of uh, those companies, right? But when they are a small company, when they are in that SME space, not many people will be knowing about those stocks. So if you can identify quality companies at the beginning of their journey, there is a good chance that you can make 10 bagger or 100 bagger or whatever, right? But you have to be extremely careful. So I talked about both disadvantages and advantages. So where should you stand? That is the most important thing, right? Understand the disadvantages, understand the advantages, and draw a parallel between them, and uh, you know come up with ideas, or come up with processes where how you can navigate the risks, or how you can mitigate the risk by framing good strategies. One strategy that I can suggest, or not suggestion, but what I was thinking is that people were also in the investing community, people are talking about one such strategy, which is identify, do a complete research, thorough research, and identify maybe 8 to 10 SME stocks, and invest equally. And even if 9 out of 10 go wrong, and if one gives you 10x or 20x return, which is very likely out of 10, you will still make decent returns, right? So that is a very one good strategy, but the problem is identifying 8 or 10 quality SME companies, right? That's the most difficult thing. But if you have time, if you have interest, if you have curiosity, you already spent some 2 to 3 years in the market, you know the market fundamentals, then it is worth trying, investing, or at least looking into this space, because massive wealth can be created when you invest rightly, right? Also, wealth destruction can also happen over here if you are in the wrong end. So be careful. This video's purpose is not for promoting SME stocks, but to give you a reality check, to give you a case in front of you where what are the risks, what are the rewards. Personally, the last point I can add on over here is that personally I am very much passionate about direct stock investing, and I am very much fascinated on identifying quality companies and investing for long term. So that's the reason I am interested in this space. I am researching about it, and I am finding companies where I can invest. It's a long process, right? So minimum five. No, I won't even say 5. Maybe 10 years. You may think through in that 10-year time frame at least. Uh, only then this space will benefit you. So yeah, personally I am interested in this space. I won't put the entire net worth into the SME stocks, but what I'm saying is that maybe some portion of the portfolio, I am happy to invest into SME stocks. Hope you liked uh, what I discussed in this video, and if you are liking my videos, do subscribe to this channel. Uh, I am trying to come up with important topics that are useful for invest investor community. So yeah, do subscribe, do learn about markets, uh, be good investors. That's what my primary reason for starting this channel. I want to talk about investing, not just that, and also make sure that people have that right mindset about investing, right? Rather than chasing quick bucks, how you can actually utilize stock market for building or creating massive wealth. For that, you need right set of mindset. You have to think clearly. So yeah, videos will be coming around those topics as well. So yeah, that's all about today's video. I will come up with another video shortly. Till then, take care.